What if I told you that history has just been made in a way no one could have predicted? Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States, has just become the first former president to be convicted of felonies. How did we get here? What does this mean for the future of American politics? Stay tuned as we dive deep into the unprecedented trial, the shocking verdict, and the ramifications that could shake the very foundation of our nation. This is a story you won't want to miss. Former President Donald Trump was found guilty on Thursday of all 34 felony counts in his criminal hush money trial. This marks the first time a former US president has been tried or convicted in a criminal case and is the first of Trump's 4 indictments to reach trial. Prosecutors accused Trump of falsifying internal business records to cover up hush money payments connected to an alleged scheme to suppress stories that could have damaged his 2016 White House campaign. Central to the charges were reimbursements paid to Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, for a $130,000 hush money payment to porn actor Stormy Daniels. This payment was in exchange for her silence about a 2006 encounter with Trump. Prosecutors argued that these reimbursements were falsely recorded as legal expenses to conceal the true nature of the transactions. The charges Trump faces carry a penalty of up to 4 years in prison. He has denied any wrongdoing and pleaded not guilty. Judge Juan M. Merchan has scheduled Trump's sentencing for July 11. Defense lawyer Todd Blanche informed CNN Thursday evening that Donald Trump wanted to testify in the trial but ultimately followed the counsel's advice and decided not to. Blanche explained that Trump was eager to share his story, but Judge Juan M. Merchan's rulings on permissible questions complicated matters due to ongoing appeals. Blanche asserted that the conviction was not a result of Trump not taking the stand. When asked why the defense didn't call former Trump bodyguard Keith Schiller and former Trump company finance chief Alan Weisselberg as witnesses, Blanche responded that the defense did not hear the burden of proof and suggested that the prosecution should have called them instead. Exonerated Central Park 5 member and current New York City Council member Yusef Salaam commented on Trump's guilty verdict, noting that he took no pleasure in it despite Trump's past calls for his execution. Salaam, who won a city council seat after being wrongly imprisoned, remarked that the legal system worked but lamented the fact that the former president was found guilty of 34 felony charges, urging that America must strive to be better. Former Manhattan District Attorney C. Vance congratulated his successor, Alvin Bragg, for conducting a nearly flawless trial under challenging circumstances. Vance emphasized the case's importance in defining the rule of law. Although Vance's office had investigated Trump, they did not bring charges before Vance retired at the end of 2021, responding to a former prosecutor's claims about the case being referred to as a zombie case. Vance stated he did not recall using that term and declined to discuss internal conversations. Vance believes it is unlikely that Trump will be sentenced to prison time in the Manhattan case, citing both the non-mandatory nature of the crimes and the complications it would cause given Trump's status as the presumptive Republican nominee for president. Trump's campaign advisors argued that the case would energize their core supporters. The surge of the nations to win red, their fundraising platform, was so overwhelming that it temporarily crashed, prompting aides to quickly set up a backup platform to handle the influx. Senior campaign advisors Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita remained in Palm Beach, Florida, where the campaign is headquartered during the events in New York. Although it may take time to gauge the full impact, critics from both parties generally agreed that the convictions might have only a marginal effect on the upcoming election, though some held out hope for a more significant impact. Todd Blanche, Trump's lawyer, mentioned plans to appeal the trial judge's refusal to recuse himself. He and Trump's legal team have argued that Judge Juan M. Merchan showed signs of bias and should not have presided over the case. On Thursday night, Trump left Trump Tower to attend a fundraiser at a private residence in New York City. This event had been scheduled by his campaign before the verdict was known. The fundraiser took place as the campaign's online fundraising platform briefly crashed following the verdict, but it was restored later that evening. The question of whether Donald Trump could go to prison remains uncertain. Judge Juan M. Merchan has set sentencing for July 11, just days before Republicans are scheduled to formally nominate Trump for president. The charge of falsifying business records is a Class E felony in New York, which is the lowest tier of felony charges in the state and is punishable by up to 4 years in prison. However, the final decision on punishment rests with the judge, and there's no guarantee Trump will receive a prison sentence. After sentencing, Trump can appeal his conviction to New York State's appellate division and possibly the state's highest court. His lawyers have been preparing for appeals by objecting to charges and trial rulings. The defense has accused the judge of bias due to his daughter's work with a firm whose clients include prominent Democrats. Despite this, the judge refused to recuse himself, asserting his ability to be fair and impartial. Trump's lawyers may also appeal the judge's decision to limit testimony from a defense expert witness. The defense wanted Bradley Smith, a Republican law professor and former Federal Election Commission member, to testify about the nature of campaign finance laws. However, the judge restricted Smith's testimony to general background information, excluding interpretations of how federal campaign finance laws apply to Trump's case or opinions on potential violations. Another potential appeal point for the defense could be the judge's allowance of graphic testimony from porn actor Stormy Daniels about her alleged encounter with Trump in 2006. The defense argued that her testimony was irrelevant to the charges and prejudicial, pushing for a mistrial without success. Defense lawyer Todd Blanche contended that Daniels' testimony about the power imbalance between her and Trump was prejudicial and irrelevant to the falsifying business records charge. Judge Juan M. Merchan has scheduled Donald Trump's sentencing in the hush money case for July 11, just days before Republicans are set to select him as their 2024 presidential nominee. After the jury delivered its verdict, Trump's defense lawyers moved for an acquittal. Defense lawyer Todd Blanche argued that the jury could not have reached its verdict without accepting the testimony of Michael Cohen, which he contended was unreliable. Prosecutor Joshua Steinglass disagreed with this characterization, and Judge Merchan denied the motion for acquittal. The jury found Trump guilty on all charges in the hush money trial. As the jury deliberated, there was a sense of anticipatory tension. The jury informed Judge Merchan at 4:20 p.m. on Thursday that they had reached a verdict, just minutes after Merchan had announced plans to adjourn the court at 4:30 p.m. unless a verdict was reached. He had intended to send the jurors home to resume deliberations on Friday, but this plan was abandoned when the jury announced they had a decision. The jury requested an additional 30 minutes to complete the verdict form before it was read in court. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like this video, click the next one shown on the screen. I'm sure you'll like it. Thanks for watching.